What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers. When we left off in the last episode, we had kind of done a little bit of a redesign on this top part up in here, and I was trying to work out getting the hull kind of completed. Now, I will say this, I did finally bite the bullet, and I made the jump over to creative for now. Mainly just because the whole building stuff and things was just getting slow, and we're not making as much progress on the actual ship design. And so I'd like to kind of just expedite this a little bit more and speed things up. So with that in mind, I don't know entirely where I'm gonna go with the series as a whole afterwards, but my focus is getting this ship designed because I do kind of want to use it for something. Not sure what yet, I just kind of want to finish it because I'm kind of like, yeah, let's get this done kind of thing. Now we had set up in the last episode, I think, do I have a spot for? I don't know where they are. Let's just grab one. Oh, they're right there in the hotbar. So yeah, we had set up a spot right here, and we could do it here. I'm not really sure what the best spot would be. I guess we could put it like this, maybe. So yeah, we could mount a merge block there, and that will be the primary connection point for the basically the thruster atmospheric ring. Actually, it does occur to me that I kind of would have liked the ring to be more along this back part, so I might put it down here. Let's actually check and see if that's a thing we could pull off. If we were down here, is there a spot that would stay in line? Actually, right there looks like it would be a good spot. So if we took these out, like this. Now this does cover up the conveyor point right there, but we do have a 1 block gap that we could make smaller connection points come off of that. So, I think that will work better than putting it up here. Like I said, the reason being this will keep it almost in perfect line with this right here. And I'm actually thinking of focusing on the hull right now because it occurred to me that if we're in creative mode, what I may actually do is build the outer ring of, you know, the whatever you want to call it, the atmosphere launcher or lander, or you know, what did I call it in the last episode? I think it was the Star Wars hyperspace ring or something like that. You know, if you want to call it like that, but basically if we use that to get out into space, then we could build only the amount of thrusters we need based on what it needs to, like, we could basically finish it in space is the idea that I'm thinking of. So I'd kind of like to get the hull design finished. And I've got to be honest though, I'm not really sure how I want to do this because we do have some better tools at our disposal now with creative though, however, so that's gonna be, that should make things a little bit more interesting, or at least a little bit easier to work with. I don't really know exactly how I want to do this, but that's probably not a bad start to just kind of seal that in, unless I want it to go down right there already. Like if we want the corner to be a corner block or something like that. The biggest issues I'm having right now is blending the different angle designs, essentially. Because this back part I really like. The back works really well up to about here, and once you get past this point it starts kind of having difficulty talking to the rest of the ship kind of thing. We do have, I am noting this, we do have a couple, like one more block over here that if we wanted to move this shape right up to here, it could make this taper a bit more, and in fact I might want to try that. Let's kind of take advantage of the whole creative thing at the moment, and I do have a backup save before I switched over to creative, just in case I decided I wanted to go back, or essentially my thought process is I could always go back to before I switched and load in a blueprint version of this, and then the nanite machine could just build it, is kind of the one idea that I had. So if I actually wanted to keep going with survival, I wouldn't have to necessarily undo that. Actually, that's not going to work there. We need that there, and that needs to go there. Now, the other thing is, will this work? I think it'll work. I think I have enough room here now that we took the void thrusters out and stuff. I think it'll be okay. I'm not sure, though. And ramps. I need my ramps. Nope, not you guys. I forget, there is a button. I'm all but positive there's a button for essentially just picking the block that you're looking at. Either that or that's Minecraft. I can't remember. I thought it was Space Engineers that you could do that. I know you can pick the color, but I really thought you could do the other stuff too. Oh well. Alright, so my point here is that with this being one block sooner, essentially, or later, depending on how you look at it, I should be able to kind of have this merge into each other without doing as many of these vertical straight up lines kind of thing. So actually, before we do too much of this, let's go ahead and walk this down. See, like that, for example, it only has one bend right there. Which we could do it there, we could extend it down one and then have this part, this row, be smooth and have it bend up here. It kind of is up in the air at the moment because I don't really know what would work best, like what would look better. For now, I say we keep it like that, I think. And I'm wondering if there's a way... I don't think there's a way to do, have this row right here be right there. Actually, there might be. If I do straight angles like this. Huh. Hold on. We might be able to... Oops. We might be able to push this back. What the heck? Oh, I don't think I have copy and paste enabled. Oops. Alright. We might be able to do the whole thing this way. Maybe. Let me see here for a second, because what I'm thinking is, if we do that, and then we do like this, or actually let's take that out. Maybe this will work. I'm not sure. If I did it this way, I'd have to do it like this, though, I think. Which kind of defeats the purpose. Because my thought process there was if we did one row like this, we could just move this down one. But then when I'm here, I would have to do like this. Why does this keep turning around on me, by the way? And then there's... Oh, hold on. Could I do this? Would this work? I don't think that'll work. I'd have to do ramps there, which would mean this would have to be a straight block. It could work, though. Do I not have my lights on? Oh, I do. Wow, they're not that bright. If I did this... I don't think I like that, though. What I was thinking was then I could actually turn around with... why do we not have ramps on this hotbar? ramp. Wait, where's the... Oh, slope. My bad. They called it slopes. Light armor slope. So then I could do something like this. But I don't know if I'd like that as much, if I'm being honest. It wouldn't actually be that bad because it would kind of, hello? That's an interesting idea, actually, because that shape does... It would actually meet up in the middle. If you did it that way. I'm wondering, that pause was, I'm wondering if I could apply that to this. Like have a row around it, which would change up the angle. Huh. That's an interesting idea. Is the back the same on this side? It is. So what I'm thinking I might do is I might try it on this side and see if it works. It would essentially be kind of like what I already started doing here, it looks like. You'd have a block. I have no idea how this would meet up, so this is definitely going to be a bear with me moment, because I don't know how this will work. Not too... I just had slopes. Oh, they're already there. Never mind. I just missed them. They're already there. Okay, so we would have to do it like this. And like that. And then... I can never get these things to rotate correctly. And then like that is kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if I like that or not. Let's go ahead and finish off this one edge like this and see if it turns out okay. That did not spin the way that I was trying to make it easier on myself. That's how I wanted to do it, right there. Alright, and then down here, we'll just flip it this way. Like that. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'll be honest. I'm not sure. This is kind of one of those harebrained ideas of mine that kind of work, but I don't know if it's actually going to do what I want it to do or not. We'll have to see. Like that. That's kind of what I was thinking, is it still creates a rounded type shape, but it's not quite as tapered as it is over here, which is kind of cool. I like this shape, I just don't like having to try and blend it into anything because it never works. And so I was kind of wondering if I did it this way, if I could then basically kind of change up the whole design here part, and it would be a little easier for me to blend it all together, I think. But I don't know. Because I would still be dealing with a vertical shape here. So I don't know how I would actually blend that together, to be honest, because you'd have to... You've got this shape coming in. And so... Yeah, I don't think that would work, because then you'll have to do some kind of weird outward vertical thing that connects up with this. And basically what I'm meaning, in case that wasn't very clear, would be you'd have to do something, if I can find the right angle, like this. You'd have to start doing something like this, to get it to square up, and then when you got over to like here and stuff, it just I don't think it's gonna work. So I don't think that will do what I wanted it to do. Alrighty, so I've made some progress, as you can see here, but I am definitely getting a headache trying to get these all to line up correctly. I think I fixed the back. I had to use one of these guys, which you know how much I love them. I hate them, for any of you that don't know. I also played around with this idea a little bit too, of trying to take it back to standard blocks and then kind of merge it into the ramps to make it a little bit more convenient to work with, because I have discovered why working with ramps is so much harder. They don't have as many blocks. And what I mean by that is we've got a slope right here, which is kind of like the equivalent of this guy right here. And we got a corner, which is kind of equivalent to this. And we've got an inverted corner, but it doesn't fit the bill like this one does. And so when you try and, like, for example, change from this direction to this direction, there's no corner block that really works. You have to end up using this guy right here, which kind of works for the most part, but kind of doesn't. So it's just weird. Because here's the problem. If you have to use this corner block, which is a straight standard square block, to meet up with the ramps, the ramp you have to use then is the corner one, like this one. So if you're in a spot where you want to use like this one or something like that, it just makes it harder. It can be done, and I'm still figuring out how to do it, but it's so much more work than just giving the ramp its own corner block version of that. It just doesn't have a good corner block. Actually, I don't think it has any really good corner blocks. It's like they have these little slope edges, and they call them corners, but they're really not used for corners much. It's like they're always just kind of like this. They're like bookend, they're slope ramps kind of thing. So, I don't know. Now looking at this, I could actually move this back one. But see, here's again another problem. If I move this back one, and I connect this to that directly and cut out this ramp section, then the row below this, I don't know how to get it to meet up, because... Let's try it. Let's just experiment. Let's go crazy. Let's just experiment here for a second. And actually I had that set up because of where this was. I was just kind of following the natural taper line. But just for... let's just delete this right here. And just for the sake of argument, let's try it. So if we have... Still can't get things to flip right. So if we have it going this way, then we'd have to do... by sequence, we'd have to do this way next. If I could get it to rotate correctly. We'd have to do it this way. Right? That's the logic. And here's the problem. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about. There is no corner that will fit this shape. That's the problem. That right there is the problem of working with ramps. You can use this guy, but it only works on one row. If you follow the shape through, it just, they don't have a block that fits this shape. So it's kind of problematic to me, because I end up being left with having to kind of merge them all together and get them to work, and they're not cooperating. It's like the design, I understand in my head what I want to do. The blocks themselves are not cooperating. And we run into the same bit here, where if I do this, I'm all but forced to cut this off at this point, because if I follow this through... actually, is that the... yeah, I guess that is the right one. If I follow this through, I end up with the same shape. I end up with the same problem as what I had down here. And therein lies the rub of using these blocks, is because they don't have a shape where all of the shapes can connect with each other. That's the problem. Is it's like... I can do this, which connects, and then I could just run these as straight ramps, but then I can't connect these guys up, because it's just... and so to make a circular shape with these ramps is just such a pain in the butt, because I know how it should look in my head. Like, I've seen it in my head, and I could probably do it with the standard blocks, because it has a bit more versatility, but the ramps give you a nicer, more angular slope. So I'm trying to make use of those, but it's becoming more and more frequently a problem, because I've got basically 3 different directions. I've got the back and the side going this way, I've got the actual side going a different way, and then you've got a corner point where they both try and meet up. And it's just not going well. I mean, grant you, we're making progress. It looks better than it has been looking. But it's just not working for me. It's not working with me very well. The only thought that I had that might work at this point, because I do have to kind of salvage this at some point and make this work, is to reduce this back and kind of use this to turn it, essentially, is the only way I've thought to work with it. And what I mean by that is to do something like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but something like this, right? And herein I have yet another problem where if I do this, actually no, this could work. Never mind. I might be onto something here. So if I did that, and then maybe that might actually have effectively turned the shape around to where now I just need to put maybe a slope here, and whoop, wrong button, and then maybe start another slope here. And I don't know why these things keep turning around on me, because I have the block rotation turned off, so it shouldn't be doing that, but it keeps. And yet again we find another problem. So I'll have to do that, and then I guess this would line us back up. See, like that? Why are you turned? So that could work for this row, but I'm having to basically do it row by row. See, why? Why are you turned back around? Watch. Click this. So it should be this shape, right? Right? And if I end on this, and then I switch blocks, I'm going to dub this a glitch because it doesn't make any sense. And then I'll hit 2, and when I cycle back, it's facing up. Shouldn't do that. Not right. So that works for that part. And I'm also not as big of a fan of this right here. This has turned a lot more square than I wanted it to. You saw before I had these slopes, but eventually it was kind of like, where do they go? What are they sloping into? And it really didn't do anything. So I had to kind of just square it off. Profile-wise, the profile's still kind of there, but I would have preferred to have done it a little differently. I also think I'm going to have a problem merging this down here into this too. Actually, let's take a minute and figure out this before we move forward. So if I did this here, I'd have to do a slope this way, right? Unless I did a corner, or an inverted corner. I mean, if I did an inverted corner, it could fix that, and then I could do like this, I guess. And then we're back to yet another issue of getting this to merge correctly, because now I've got this shape going on. That's what I'm saying. This has been infuriating me. Like, you guys have no idea. This has been way more of a pain in the butt than it actually should have been. And it's really just getting these stupid blocks to work right. Like, all they really need is a 2-to-1 corner. Like, a side. I mean, there's even been mods, and I might have to actually download mods to get this to work, but like, there's mods where you have a slope corner on one side and then a 2-by-1 corner on another side, and it'll just merge together and it looks fine. But because there's no vanilla block like that, you get these shapes where you just can't do anything with them. They just won't work. And it's very, very, very infuriating. So at the moment, my best case scenario is to just block this off, and I hate that. I despise that. It looks terrible, but I don't know how to get these shapes to talk to each other. Now, I could blend it in to where we start kind of curving, which is kind of the idea, I guess, but it's just, again, I don't know how to get it to curve anymore, because when I start curving it back, they just don't work with each other. So I'm really not sure how to do that. Even certain things like you could even do stuff like this, where you've got a layer of straight block that, you know, has a ramp on top of it, but at a certain point it kind of has to curve somehow. So like this, for example, it's got to taper somewhere. So I really don't know. That's why I kind of started over here now, was because I'm like, maybe I can walk it back and figure out what I'm doing. But I'm not happy about this so far. It's just been, I guess my point that kind of bugs me, and the real reason for my perturbedness, is that there are mods out there that fix it. So it's kind of like, if you're developing the game and you're putting in new blocks, then you shouldn't have to have the community fix your blocks, is I think my issue with this situation here. Is it's like, if you have mods that will fix this, why doesn't the vanilla just have them already? It's like the blocks are already done. Essentially, just do them yourselves. Okay, so I'm left with this position, which is really crappy, and I don't know how to work with it. Because, once again, I have a block to meet the 2x1, and I have a block to meet the 1x1, but nothing that is a hybrid. They need a converter, is what they really need. They need a converter block that can essentially switch the block type from one side to the other, and it would... I mean, they kind of have something in like this, where you can do that, but it's not fully... Like, it's only one block. It's not fully realized, kind of thing. So, I guess I could do this, and then I guess I'll have to end it right there. I don't see another way to do it. That's the only way I can think to do it. Because I have to end this curve at some point. I can't just do another corner and curve it and then square it off again, because it's just going to keep going down and down and down like a pyramid, and I need to actually round off this edge at some point. So I guess that's my only option, is to leave one of those exposed there. I hate having to do that, I really do. It just kind of bothers what I would consider situational OCD, I guess. Alright, so this won't work here because this won't work here, which means I have to do another ramp here. And this leaves us in the same spot we were in before. So how did I fix this up here? I did something. I guess I did another one of these. I feel like the problem with this is that there's only like one way to do it. I think that's the real main issue here, is it's not because it can't be done, it's that there's really no other way. It's like, you might have had a better idea or a different one, but it just won't work any other way, so you just have to do it this way. And I think that's my big issue with it. Alright, so now we'll put this here, put this here, and I changed something about this around on the other one. How did we do this? I guess I have to walk it up. Again, I don't really like this shape. Not much I can do about it. And we'll be forced to leave a spot there, and we'll have to do that. So I think you guys have probably gotten my point. You probably have heard it a couple times now. Probably got a pretty clear indication of my issues with this system so far. I don't really think it needs to be repeated yet another time. Oh man. Alright, so put that there, and we'll put you there. Now this one, I might be able to get away with something a little different, and the reason being that this was all connected. Like, there's no gaps here. Like, even this one has a gap, a one block gap. There's no gaps here. And I'm thinking that this one having another block gap space, and then I can kind of bring it out and down, I might not have to deal with some of this. I might. That's kind of what I'm wondering. It also seems like if you end on the base block on this one, it doesn't actually invert, which is weird. So if I do this, and then I do this... Oh, hush. I have a feeling... Oh, this is going to be bad. This shape won't work here. Okay. Okay, I guess maybe I'll have to do one of these. This ship feels so hodgepodged at this point, like the design is just terrible. Oh, no, hold on. We need to fix something here, especially since this is going this way. So let's start it off like this, I guess, and then walk it around. Yeah, see, now it's flipped. Do I do it this way, or do I need to do another one of these, I guess. I don't like that. That looks way too tall to me. It also means that if I were to follow this shape, I would actually need to do this, which I don't know how I feel about. Because that's not exactly the shape I was thinking of in my head when I was designing the thing. Although I could put some fixed rockets there. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But yeah, I don't know if that's a little too squared off. Because if you'll recall, we still have this back here that we need to merge in. And that's what I'm saying. There's just too much merging. There's too many different directions going on here. It's been driving me crazy. So yeah, we made some progress. And it's coming along. It's getting there. It looks better than it did. But it's still... it's missing something. It's still not quite coming together quite right yet. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any ideas or techniques or advice you may have. I might move that ramp up to there, actually. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, I think we're going to wrap things up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace!